Folks, our first on-demand workshop, How to Become a Coffee Consultant, is now available for you to learn at your own pace for just €50, and it comes with a certificate upon completion. Go to mapperforward.coffee/workshops or click the link in the show notes for more details. Support this podcast by supporting our sponsors. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and today we start a new series, episode 1 of 5, with Hassan Almasalmeh. Did I say it right? Almasalmeh. Okay. Close enough. Folks, I am destined to get this right by at least the 3rd episode. So Hassan, welcome to the podcast for the first time.
Thank you very much for having me. An absolute pleasure.
It's my pleasure, sir. At the ripe old age of 19, you are our youngest guest on the podcast. So this is going to be a real joy, especially because the thing that we want to talk about in this series is the future of specialty coffee from the perspective of a Gen Zer. I think they're calling you guys Zoomers. Did you know that?
I think Zoomers, but Gen Z is the most common term, I would say.
Right.
And then there's another gen behind us as well. But Gen Z, I would say, is typically the most popular one.
Okay. We're going to stick with Zoomer because I kind of like that for the purposes of this conversation. Are you okay with me calling you a Zoomer?
Zoomer works. Zoomer.
Okay. Fantastic.
Switch between the both, maybe. We'll see.
We'll keep it interesting. So, folks, in this series, the reason I wanted to have this conversation with Hassan, and it's totally fine that the lights are going out where you are, it's no problem. But the reason I wanted to have this conversation is because a lot of the conversations we've been having this year are about where we think things are going and what we think is broken and all of that kind of stuff. And so to have this conversation from the perspective of somebody who is the future of our industry, and Hassan has been doing some really amazing things in the industry and getting published and all that kind of stuff that's happening. And so I wanted to have this conversation from the perspective of someone who's decided that the coffee industry is the place that he wants to be while he's doing a degree, and he's making things happen. So Hassan, tell everybody who you are and what you've been working on and where you are, etc., etc.
I am Hassan Almasalmeh, to be clear. I am of Syrian origin, and I've been brought up in both the Middle East in Dubai and England over the past 19 years. It's been an interesting journey. Mm-hmm. I'm also currently a full-time business management and marketing student. And on the side, I work along with my passion, coffee.
Yeah,
I've been in the industry now, I would say, from the age of 13, so 6 years. It's been truly, truly interesting. And I am, wrapping up my diplomas. I'm trying to get that coffee diploma by 20, hopefully. I've recently completed my professional brewing. So, yes, professional brewing and professional barista so far.
And you are second generation coffee industry. We should give your dad a shout out here.
You should. Hassan Almasalmeh, keep an eye out for him. Future episode.
Yeah, he's a big champion of your journey, and he has done amazing things in the industry and continues to do amazing things in the industry to set a really great example for you. And it's just really admirable to see that happening all over the world. Now, you are working at Lulu's in Bath.
In Bath, England, indeed. The Pearl of the City, we like to call it. It's
the Pearl of the City.
Pearl of the City. A very welcoming, lovely place. I love to make people feel like family when they come in. It's truly interesting, some of the conversations you can have and where things can go. But truly, without my father's vision, things would look very, very different, I would say, for me. And it's truly been admirable to have him along with the journey and to just see him grow while I grow. It's really, really interesting.
Now, what do you do at Lulu's?
So I currently am the director of Lulu's. So towards the start of the journey, I was just your normal weekend barista, trying to understand what this whole coffee thing is. It just tasted very bitter. I don't know what I was drinking. But then over time, something changed. So I'm still trying to understand what flipped. I don't know, I think it was my dad's passion or something changed in me. Maybe it was my first 360 that I tried. But it truly made me explore something completely different within me in this industry. And ever since, it's been an exciting journey, especially this past year. Yeah. Really, really exciting.
And you're definitely laying the groundwork to be a mover and shaker of the future, getting involved in coffee competitions, getting involved in traveling with coffee. And that's where I kind of want to enter this conversation about the future of specialty coffee. So as a Zoomer, as a member of Gen Z, where do you see specialty coffee going, given that at the ripe old age of 19, you've already been in the industry for quite some time? Where is it going from your perspective?
Very big question. Very, very interesting question.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to take a step back to see where we are so we can see how things are going forwards. And I want to introduce the talk about the coffee waves.
Okay.
The waves of coffee, starting from, I believe, the late 1800s, 18,000, I think. So that's when coffee was becoming an accessible commodity. As you know, innovations are beginning to happen. This is in particular talking about the American market, the market where everyone is kind of looking at. And yeah, that's, I would say, when coffee was first being introduced to kind of the Western world. Of course, before it was a very big thing in the Middle East, in the Turkish culture, but true kind of coffee was coming along then. That's the first wave. The second wave is when we started to see the Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts coming up around 1960s, I would love to say, until early 1990s. That's when kind of coffee shops are becoming more of a thing. The introduction of, lattes, cappuccinos from Europe were coming over. And there was a bit more of a focus on quality, I would say, like starting to understand what quality is, because they were kind of laying the foundations quite a lot. And then this leads us into the third wave, the late 2000s until early 2010, where you did a lot of incredible work and you kind of got to see specialty coffee being laid out to the complete foundations. We were moving over from, the Starbucks and the chains to really understanding what quality is, the different kind of techniques that were coming up, the innovations, the tasting notes, the informations, truly putting that all into one big, incredible industry. And then this leads us to where we are now, the fourth wave, the current era, marked by Zoomers, Gen Zs, I would say. The growth of, you could say, there's a lot of different, I feel like, sides to the market currently, where you have at home specialty coffee drinking from maybe companies like espresso, which people like, all full coffee setups, which have become more accessible, of course, due to COVID and a few other things. And then also we are seeing an upcoming era of cold drinks and iced, drinks and different things like matcha and, things made with the cascara of coffee. It's truly, truly been interesting. And I believe this has also brought like a new way of coffee marketing, I would say. You're going to have, we've never, I would say, seen in the past decade something like this, which I've noticed. You have to market to the Gen Zs in a very different manner. We've been brought up, I would say, one of the first generations with an era of changing technology and always having to adapt and change. So it's been truly, truly interesting. And I feel like this isn't going to be stopping anytime soon. Like heading forwards, it's going to be going into a very, very interesting period of time. Some of the best years of coffee, I would say, are upon us.
So in your mind, the direction that coffee is going to go correlates with the digital era, and the way that marketing is going to evolve is going to, like, those two things are going to be correlated as we move forward.
100%. I feel like it's going to play a very important part, because understanding your market is a very important element to everything, I would say, and I feel like the data we're being given through these digital devices and the ways we're able to track data and kind of, keep updated on this in ways we've never seen before. You're able to stay up and relevant with your consumer. What are they liking? What are they seeing? How can I adapt that? Where do I fit within this market? It's truly, truly incredible stuff.
So tell me how you guys, like, how do you see the industry right now? Like, do you see it as, actually, I'm not going to say it that way, but tell me how you see the industry today. How, do you see it? Go ahead.
How do I see the industry today? The industry, I would say, is entering, as we was just saying, the technological new innovation era. A lot of funky things are going on, like ready to drink drinks and cold brews, like we were mentioning. And I feel like it's up from the foundations over the past decade, because the past decade, the third wave kind of laid those foundations down from what you saw. You guys had to do all the hard work of laying it down and understanding the focus on quality and truly basically setting out the key things to look out for when you're looking at quality. I would say now we're taking that and evolving it in new different ways. For example, I used to correlate coffee like an old people's drink, you know, like the older generations, like us kids, we don't drink coffee, you know, that's not a
Easy
thing.
sunshine.
It's I would say it wasn't really a kid's drink, you know. And then I feel like cold drinks allowed it to kind of, you know, expand in that way and, you know, healthier ways and different ways to drink coffee. So I think it's in a very interesting place and is going to continue growing in a very interesting place, especially with all the different markets evolving, because every market currently is looking very different. And in particular, what I'm very excited about is the Gulf market and how that shape up things. They're entering in a very, very interesting period of time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So when it comes to the industry as an industry, do you think that Gen Zers see this as a welcoming industry? Do you think they see it as something that has long-term potential?
I would say definitely. Because as Gen Zs, I feel like we truly look for quality and what we are looking for. And we are, I would say, more than ready to pay maybe a higher price for quality as in comparison to maybe other generations where they want the bang for their buck a bit more. But we truly care about quality. Like, where is this coffee coming from? What experience are you providing me? What's the journey of this being kind of, you know, replicating us as being the bean of coffee and how we ended up in your cup towards the end. And I feel like if you're able to kind of capture that very well, I would say it's a very relevant topic to be on top of.
Okay. In the next episode, we're going to talk about how you see the evolution over the next decade. So you will be 29 at that point, and I'd love to see... Easy, Tiger. Stop freaking out. It's 29. If only you understood how ripe the old... Oh, Jesus. Anyway, so join us for the next episode, folks. This is going to be a really interesting discussion from the perspective of those of us. Like, we've been in the industry for a long time and we've seen it evolve. Where Hassan and Gen Z are starting from is what it took for us to build. So there is a different trajectory. They don't come with the same baggage that we've come with. So let's explore that in the next episode. Join us for that one, folks. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in, friends. There are 2 ways you can support this podcast. Firstly, become a paid member of our YouTube channel. Secondly, you can join our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video before you leave and check the show notes for more information. Now, this is what you should check out next.